Welcome everybody to another episode of Keeping It 100. That's right, Keeping It 100, where we talk about real issues in a real way. We're so excited about this week's episode. We got a great program planned for you. If you've been tuning in from week to week, man, we just say welcome back. So glad to have you back watching us. And guess what? If this is the first time you never watched us before, here's what we want you to do. Go back onto the SEC TV channel and watch the old episodes of Keeping It 100. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you enjoy this programming and leave a comment so that we can make the programming even better. Well, listen, I don't want to hold this up any longer. We want to get after it today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Keeping It 100.
Good afternoon, everyone. We hope that you're all doing well and enjoying this beautiful Sabbath day. Thank you again for joining us today. And we're so excited to continue with our series of discussion while keeping it 100. People have the desire to feel loved and included by others. And we also want the love, security, and fellowship that comes from a connection to others. As Christians, we want to build godly relationships and have a genuine community that help us thrive not only in our faith, but in life in general. But how do we find it? So this is what we're going to discuss today with our panelists. But before we get started, I'm inviting you all to enjoy this special selection by Mount Pisgah Praise Team.
Oh, we love you, Jesus. We give you the glory, Lord. We give you the glory. Oh, we love you, Lord. Yes, we do. Come on, open up your mouth and bless him. Come on, open up your mouth and bless him. Yeah. Sing, my God, praise. My God, praise. Our God, praise. Our God, praise. Sing, Lord, you reign above every name. Yeah. Sing, my God, praise. My God, praise. Sing, our God, praise. Yeah. Sing, Lord, you reign above every name. Power and majesty, dominion, authority. You reign. Power and majesty. Yeah. Power and majesty. Oh, dominion, authority. You reign. Sing it again. My God reigns. My God reigns. My God reigns. Sing, our God reigns. Our God reigns. Sing, Lord, you reign above every name. Yeah. Sing, my God reigns. My God reigns. Sing, our God reigns. Our God reigns. Sing, Lord, you reign above every name. With power and majesty. Oh, dominion, authority. Yes, you reign. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. And majesty. Oh, dominion, authority. You reign. Come on, take it up. Oh, sing, my God, praise. My God, praise. Sing, our God, praise. Our God, praise. Sing, Lord, you reign above every name. Yeah. Sing, my God, reign. My God, reign. Sing, our God, praise. Our God, praise. Sing, Lord, you reign above every name. Power and majesty. Oh, dominion, authority. Yeah, you reign. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
was really enjoying this song by Alpha Agape Praise Team. They reminded us how God reigns and He has all power, dominion, majesty. So thank you so much for this beautiful song. And now we'll transition to our panel discussion, which will be moderated by Pastor McLeod.
I gotta go. Hey everybody, hey everybody. Just want to just thank you all for tuning in. And we're going to bring on our panel at this time because we have an exciting topic this week. And we just want to jump right on into it and make sure that we have plenty time to discuss. So everybody is on. Let me see, is everybody there? Everybody's there. Okay, I want you to introduce yourselves. Just unmute yourself, and we're going to start with Michaela. Just mute yourself, introduce yourself, tell us which school you attend, and if you go to FSU, don't mention that part. Just leave that one out.
Hello, my name is Michaela. I attend the illustrious Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. I am a fourth-year doctor of pharmacy candidate there.
All right. Okay. All right. Yep. All right. Let's go down. Let's drop down to Karan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a second year junior at Florida State University, and congrats to Black History Month. We're closing it out. Great, you guys.
All right. Okay. Emmanuel, hit us up.
Hey everyone, my name is Emmanuel. I'm a graduating senior at Florida A&M University studying mathematics.
All right. That's the money, the numbers and the money man. All right. Okay. All right, Jessica, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from? Where you go to school? If it's not FSU.
My name is Jessica. I go to FAMU. I'm a second year English major.
All right. Okay. And Lori, talk to us. Tell us about yourself.
Well, good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Lori. I am a fourth year accounting and finance student at Florida State University. Go Noles.
I know she didn't have to say go Noles.
Yeah,
I did.
What?
I was trying to ignore it.
Stop playing.
Yeah, a lot of snakes are here. All right, let's get to the topic now because we got a lot to discuss today. All right, let's jump on into it. Today we're talking about godly community. And we hear a lot in society today about community, and everybody wants, sense of community, wants to fit in, wants to belong somewhere. It's kind of always been that way, but now more than ever before, in the millennial generation and the generation after, man, people really look for ways to connect, especially with social media and other things that are now available. People like to connect at a different level. And so today we're going to talk about godly community. We're going to get into it and figure it out. All right, so let's start first. I want to ask the panelists this question, and we're just going to go around. When you hear the word community, what does that mean to you? Community. Just hit me with a 2-3 line definition so we can start to define what community is.
For me, it is a support system of individuals that you can lean on.
Okay, support system. All right. Michaela?
For me, when I think about community, I think about a group of people working together to attain one goal.
Okay, all right. So you got people coming together. All right, let's go, Emmanuel.
Similar to Karan and Michaela, when I think of community, I think of like a group of people who are like united with like a common goal or like a common interest, and they're trying to strive towards something.
Okay, common goal, common interest. All right, okay. We're starting to see a picture come together here. People working together, people coming together who can be trusted, have confidence in each other, coming together to work towards a goal. All right, Jessica.
For me, it's like what most of them said. I think it's just a group of people, and like their common goals, for the whole group to get better, like as a unit.
Okay, so they're working together to make each other better, not just one person getting better. Everybody gets better. And you had a guest there, a visitor. You don't got to run them away, man. You don't got to shush them. You had a visitor. We just want to say, hey, there you go, there you go. All right, all right. Okay, Lori, talk to me.
I would say that a community is a group of people, like you all said, um, who have a common interest, working together towards a common goal, but also who have a sense of belonging. Also, who make everybody feels included, and who also share some type of characteristics, like some common characteristics, or share some common values. I would say.
Okay, so there's some things. There's a commonality. It's not just this disbursement of people, this random group, but these people have a common interest, something that binds them, something that holds them together, right? Okay,
Mhm.
so you've already sort of started to mention some of the things that I wanted to hit at about when we talk about the characteristics. But we've defined what community is, right? So we know now community is a group of people. They have common interests. They have confidence in each other. They're working towards the goal of the whole. Everybody getting better. Everybody growing. So we got a picture now what a community is. Now the question is, what then is a godly community? What makes a godly community different from regular community? Is there a difference? So that's what I want to ask you guys now. So anybody who wants to jump in. I see. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand, Michaela. Go ahead. You can go first. I sorry, I missed your hand there.
My hand wasn't up, but
I know, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I would say the difference is just having the presence of God in the midst.
Okay. Presence of God in the midst. All right, all right. So it's a group of people coming together. They have common interests. Okay, well, let me not ask that yet. Let me give one or two more people to a chance, and then I'm gonna ask that question. So we're gonna hit you, Karan.
Wow, the popcorn. Wow. With like Michaelia said, with God in the midst, the purpose of the meeting is to get closer or to help build each other's relationship with God.
Okay, so that's a little different context now. So that this is not just a group of people coming together. Their purpose is growing closer to God and growing spiritual. Okay, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I think Quran hit it like right on the nail. I would say, um, yeah, so a godly community is a group of people that their sole focus, their sole mission is to like bring each other closer to God, and whatever experiences that they have, like share their experiences, and kind of uplift each other, and just kind of bring each other closer to God.
Okay. So Jessica, now I want to ask you a question. Now, based on what Emmanuel just said, based on what Karan and Michaela just said, I have a different question for you, Jessica. Jessica, here's my question for you: is a community without God, is it any good? Now, notice I didn't say ungodly. I'm just saying a community that's not focused around God. Is that good? Is that something you should be a part
I wouldn't say it's bad.
of? That's it.
I just think because I feel like a community in general, like because as people we need like human interaction. So I feel like a community in general like is good for the betterment of anybody. But I think that when God is in the mix and you make God like the focus point of that community, it's better.
Okay. So it's that. So you're saying that community with God is just better. Not that the other ones are bad. That one's just better. That's what you're saying. Okay. All right. That you go to FSU?
No, I go to
No, you go to
family.
family. Okay. I thought that was the FSU internet tripping this. So my bad. All right. Lori, let me come to you now, Lori. Um, because I need to know something here. We're talking now about godly community. Lori, how come for people in your age group, in your demographic, why is community so important?
Okay, so we're young and we like social interactions, like Jessica said, and we want to have this community where we could feel included, where we could find a sense of purpose, because this is how we learn and we grow and we get this sense of fulfillment. So being part of this community, we find this fulfillment and we find people to encourage us, to uplift us, to teach us, to guide us, and maybe to share our pain, to share our joy. So it's good for us to be in that community so we can have a sense, I mean, to have a meaningful journey or a meaningful life, to give a sense to whatever activity that we're undertaking, or in life in general.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So, somebody dropped off. All right. Michaela, that same question for you now. Why is community so important to you? Why, in the, and I'm gonna just say this, with the millennial generation and those coming after, you hear a lot about community, which you didn't really hear as much when I was, coming up. And I mean, I'm just came up just a few years ago, just like you all, but I'm just like watch it, Quran. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. I just got gray quick. That's all. Y'all don't get it mixed up. I just got gray fast. That's what happened. It's a medical condition. But anyway, I hear a lot more now about community. So I just want to hear from you, from your perspective as a young person, why this thing of community is so critical.
Similar to what Lori said, I feel like a community is important because we're growing. It's so many different things where one person may have an experience that you're going through and you have that person to relate to, and they could probably provide you with guidance on how to get through it. And just having somebody to provide you with direction. God is, for one, our number one person with direction, but then he also puts people in our lives to give us that direction. And that's where your community comes in, with God putting people around you to help guide you.
Okay. All right. So, Quran, here's a question just popped into my mind. I'm going to try to see if I can hit you with this one. So we're saying now that community is critical. What does a godly community look like to you? And I don't mean a group of people come. No. Like, what does it look like? Like, what do y'all do? What does a godly community do? I mean, are you in a godly community?
I am actually. One of the people around me is here. It's Emmanuel. It's everybody that I meet that is a believer. But my closer godly community, it looks like, well, it's mostly young women, but we come together to not only talk about our experience with God, but the times where we feel that we've fallen. It's a place where you can be transparent, where you're allowed to tell the truth. Just like how you try to tell God the truth, we try to bring that to our brothers and sisters, because lying to them won't help us at all. It's our place where we can escape from the world, since we are the minority, the constant tensions of everything that's going around. Coming with your community in God, it's this safe sanctuary that you can not only be in the midst of with God. It's more like you could be in the midst of people that experience the same things as you, and they understand, as opposed to somebody from the outside. So yeah, I mean, Emmanuel was there to help me during a time that was really hard, and I didn't even know that he was experiencing the same thing. And then when I got hit with the same problem that was going on with me, when I was unable to pray, he was there to help me, and that helped me exponentially more than me sitting there struggling to do it by myself. He was there to help me carry the burden.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. And the Bible tells us, young people, that we are to bear one another's burdens. That's what the Bible says. We're supposed to bear each other's burdens. And so, yeah, what you're describing is what a godly community looks like. It's a place where, where people can go. But you use the word, and Emmanuel, I want to hit you with this one, because she used the word. She said transparent. And if we're saying that a godly community is a place where we're bearing each other's burdens and being transparent. Now, what is there such a thing as sharing too much in a godly community when you talk about being transparent?
I can only speak for myself in this instance, and I'm gonna say no, because if I'm in a godly community, right, I'm not thinking that what I'm saying people are gonna talk about it behind my back, or people are going to say like, oh, why are you sharing all this extra stuff, or why are you doing this, why are you doing that. If I'm in a godly community, I would bring my true and authentic self. And if I'm struggling with something, like, I would share it, and I would say, this is what I'm struggling with. Can you guys pray about this for me? Can you guys pray for like my school, or pray for this? Or like, I don't think I'm gonna pass this class. Like, it's not looking good, stuff like that. So I'm gonna say no. I don't think there's a case where, you know, sharing too much. I don't think sharing too much is a thing when it comes to a godly community. That's what I'll say.
Okay, all right. So now, in order to not make that real, so then now it becomes critical then to know who's in your community. Then, if you're going to be that transparent and that open, so Jessica, let me ask you this, Jessica. One of the questions is, how do we choose a godly community, or is one chosen for us? Does God do that, or do we have a part to play in that? How do you choose a godly community?
I think that it's both, because like we make the decision to whether or not we want to be a part of it, but I feel like God lets us know if we have a place in that community. So I think it's
Break that
like,
down a little bit. Break that down, yeah.
well, I mean, if you're not comfortable in a certain space, I feel like that's God or like the Holy Spirit telling you maybe these are not my people. And
Mhm.
it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with the people. Maybe you just don't mix well with them.
Okay, that's not your group. That's not your people.
It's not her portion. Yeah.
I got you. I got you. All right, Lori, we're gonna come to you now. So, Lori, I got that same question for you, but I want you to personalize it now. So, give me an example, or maybe, or just, how do you know when you're in a group of people that, okay, yeah, these are people I can be real with. These are people that I can be vulnerable with. I can be transparent, and I can trust them.
Okay, I would say that first of all, you have to let yourself be guided by God, and you have to pray about it. The Holy Spirit will tell you whether this person or this community is for you, and you have to trust this community. You have to trust those people, and also you must be able to be transparent and open and vulnerable with these people. If you cannot be vulnerable, or whenever you're being judged, or you're being looked upon, or you don't find that comfort, or that advice, or that guidance, or that encouragement you're looking for, there's probably something wrong. I mean, there's probably something that's not working, something wrong, and you should probably look somewhere else. So I feel like being in a community where you can be vulnerable, where you can learn about yourself, and you may not be afraid to share whatever it is. And I remember last week we were talking about shame and guilt.
Yeah.
So if you cannot bring up things that you're ashamed of with a community, you only sharing things that that are on the surface, but you cannot go deeper with them. I feel like there's probably you should think about it more, because as Christian, we're more open to share some um things that we're not ashamed of. But what about those things that people cannot see, like those things that are done behind closed doors? Are you able to share them? Are you are you do you feel comfortable sharing them with those people? And are you being judged? Are you being rather than being encouraged, or maybe if they tell you, okay, this is how it should be done, we understand, but this is how it should be done, instead of judging you or dragging you down, but leading you in the right direction.
Okay, so you like kind of like that stuff that Karan was telling us about last week that she used to do, but we've been praying for her all week, and yeah. So no,
Oh
I'm,
my
I'm just saying,
God.
y'all just saying
Pastor,
that.
do we have beef? You've been sending shots.
Do we have
Oh my
beef?
God.
I think it's the school. He just don't like the school.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling.
Really?
I want to like you. I want to like you.
He just don't like the school.
We're so likable
It's
though.
okay. I'll creep up on you. It's all right.
But
Yeah,
but but we
Quran,
go.
We gotta
is a
pray for
like-
him too, Karan,
Quran is a
so he
likable
can
person.
accept us.
Yeah. So now let me get serious. So you brought up a word, Lori, and I want to hit this now with the panel. you brought up a word. You talked about being judged, and I think one of the challenges that sometimes we have in community is not feeling like we're being judged when we share something that's challenging, something that's makes us vulnerable, something that maybe, like you say, a point of shame for us, or guilt, and we bring it up in that community, in that space. So my question is, how can a godly community, or the community you're in, how can it hold you accountable without being judgmental? I guess that's how does that look? How can Quran has mentioned it. Michaela, we didn't get to hear from you yet. So before you answer that question, are you in a godly community, and what does that look like? Because I don't think I got that from you yet, Michaela.
So I would say I am in one. What it looks like for me is just having people who see the things that I don't say. Because for me, I'm not the type of person. I'm not that type of person that's just going to be, boom, here's what's going on. But I have people that like they'll see that there's something wrong. They're like, what's going on? So that's what my godly community looks like. And even if I'm not like willing to open up, they're like, okay, we're just going to pray about it. Then and there, like they're like, I don't have to know what's going on if you don't want to tell me. So we're just going to pray about it. So that's what my godly community looks like.
Okay. So now let's get to the other question about that judgmental. How can, let's say there's a moment where you decide, man, I need to share this with somebody because, this is getting at me. And you share. How can they hold you accountable without being judgmental? Or do you even want them to hold you accountable?
So Emmanuel, are you saying something?
Oh, no. I was about to say something. But go ahead, Michaela. Go ahead.
Okay. So I would say one thing is, well, without being judgmental, understand that person, typically if they're coming to you knowing that they did something wrong, they've internalized that. So don't try to like push that on them more like, okay, well, you know what you did is wrong, because chances are they're already aware of it because they're bringing it to others' attention. So I would say for me, what it looks like is, what are the next steps from here that we're going to take to avoid you from going back to where you're just coming from? Because now you're accepting that you did something wrong. So what are we going to do about it?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Emmanuel, because I know you wanted to jump in on that.
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to jump in on this. So piggybacking off Michaela, like having like concrete steps and realistic steps too. Not nothing like far-fetched, but something that's realistic, something that's attainable. I think that's important as well. And another thing I would say is like being empathetic. So sometimes that's something that we can miss sometimes. So we don't necessarily like we want to kind of drop down the gavel whenever somebody does something wrong, but you don't want to be empathetic about it, or like you don't want to show that like, or you don't want to say that like, hey, I understand, I although I haven't been through it, I could see your point of view, and this was wrong, X, Y, and Z, kind of talk it out. But if you show empathy and then you say like what Michaela said, all right, so these are some next steps, I think that's pointing in the right direction.
Okay. So Quran, let me ask you this, Quran, because I know you've had, you said you have a godly community. I'm not gonna mess with you. I'm not see you laughing because I'm not gonna mess with you. You say you have godly community.
I'm watching you, Pastor.
Yeah, you say you have godly community. So my question to you is, can you maybe share an experience or just kind of help us to understand within your community, how do they help hold, or how do you all help hold each other accountable without being judgmental? And just share that with me first, and then I have a follow-up.
Okay, well, when it came to me, my godly community, they're people that know me, so they know what I'm doing is wrong. Not only what I'm doing is wrong, but what is outside of my normal character, and they're the ones that will check me on that before anyone else can, because they know me just like God knows us. So being honest and transparent to them helps them to be able to mold the advice that they needed to give me in the personal situation that it happened to be. And not only was I lifted up, but they constantly reassured that although it was wrong, it made me better to want to be better. They kept putting that into my mind that yes, you messed up. All of us have fallen short of glory. Everyone sins. It happens, but it's not your job to keep putting it against yourself. It's time to move forward. So they gave me steps to be able to not only get better, but to start implementing new things. They gave me things that they had in their past that they did, and they the steps that they did to move far from that. And they also prayed with me each morning so that I could learn to build my prayer life, because that was something that I was not good at. I was what was the word, insecure about my prayer life, because I didn't know how to be like the ones that were the prayer warriors on the stage. I didn't know how to do it. I was like, God, I love you. Okay, but I realized that with the steps that they gave me, the more that I immerse myself into God, the more that I immerse myself into my word, that then gave me words to keep talking. And the more that I realized it, God was humbling me, giving me the humility to be in His presence, but also realizing that I have blessings around me that He keeps seeding into my life. So it's just a wake up moment to be around them, because they're pools that are reaching from God as well. So, yes, God uses multiple things to get to you, but even closer is a friend that can give you counsel. So they're my counsel. I'd rather
Oh,
them give me counsel than the world.
oh yeah, I hear you. I hear you. All right, okay. Yeah, no, no. Jessica, um, you there? Scared to unmute? You can unmute. I want to hear you like I want to hear you
Yeah.
sigh when I ask this question. I want to hear you gasp because you're like, wait, what? Okay. So we've been talking about godly communities and how important it is, and but do we really need godly community? Do we really need it? That's my question for you, Lori. Do we really need it? Do we really need to have a godly community, or is it like gravy on the mashed potatoes?
Personally, I feel like you need gravy on your mashed potatoes the same way you need a godly community because, um, like Karan was saying, our community is what's gonna hold us accountable. When it's just us, we can. I I wanna. I don't want to say lie, but like we can deceive ourselves, or we can say, "Oh, what I'm doing isn't bad," or "This is, I'm not sinning. Everyone does this." But I feel like when you're in a community, like we were saying earlier, we push each other to do better, and we hold each other accountable, and you get different perspectives from like one situation, and it can help you like tremendously getting closer to God and building your relationship and keeping it healthy and
Okay.
whatnot.
Okay, okay, that's okay. You even handle that one well. You threw my words back at me. That's good. We'll get that. So just for that, I have one question on here, especially for you, but we'll hold that to the end. All right, Lori, quick question for you. Um, Godly community, do we really need it? And is there a point where you can become too helpful in holding somebody within your community accountable?
The second part is very tricky, but I'll go with the first part. So, yes, it is important to have a godly community because God saw the need of having other people to hold us accountable. If we go back to the beginning in Genesis, when Adam saw himself being alone, and it was sad. He couldn't be by himself, so God created Eve, and this is how God
Trouble,
is, has
trouble,
shown us.
trouble
Come
ever
on
since,
now,
ever
come
since.
on now.
I saw
Behind
that
all behind.
coming. I saw it coming too.
Wow. Anyways, I was always gonna bring it up. So, this shows how important it is to have a community, and not only they help us grow spiritually, they draw us nearer to God, but also they hold they keep hold us accountable, they hold our hands. And I remember Emmanuel was saying that they you have to this is how you learn to be empathetic. So if you don't have someone to show empathy to, if you by yourself, you're isolated, you will never get the opportunity to experience how to be empathetic. So being in this godly community, it shows you how you it not it helps you thrive in your faith, in your walk with God, because nobody's perfect. We are sinners. We struggle with a lot of things in life. So having this community help us thrive in our faith and encourage us, but also it also shows us how to serve others, show empathy to others, and be closer to God.
Okay, all right. So when are you going to answer the second
The
part of my question?
second part. Alrighty. For the second part, okay. So, is it possible to be too helpful? Well, I would say yes and no. It depends on the intent of your help, like how you want to be helpful. Because sometimes people do it, they may not realize it, but they do it genuinely. They care about you and they want you to leave that chapter behind, or get out of that situation that you are, or maybe the sin you're struggling with. And sometimes they hold your hand too tight and they won't let you experience it yourself, since they have the concrete steps. They show it to you, but they don't let you experience it on your own. They're always checking on you. They're always telling you, okay, remember, you have to do it. And sometimes, especially with young people, when we feel like we're being micromanaged, or when we're always, I don't know, we'll feel uncomfortable, we feel like we're suffocating. And it can get it can be a downside, but also it can be helpful. But I would say that sometimes we have to, I mean, when it's there's always a limit to everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Got it.
if we have to show empathy, or if we have to help someone, but we have to also let them experience what they going through, and we can always guide them, but not be all over them all the time, and pray for them. But because if we're just too too involved, or maybe we're showing that we're too interested, it may probably bring up some other thoughts, like, okay, why are you so interested in that, or maybe, do you really want to help me, or you're trying to prove something, or are
Trying to
you
be in
really
my
helping me, or
business.
do you have, yes, why are you all up in my business? So I would say it's, some people do it genuinely without knowing that it's not good. So, and other people, they just do it because they really want to know what's going on, or they're trying to prove that, okay, this person, I already told y'all, this person is not getting out of this situation. It's just a way for them to prove that, okay, this person is a bad person, and I've been helping, and guess what, I've been checking, I've been telling them what to do, and they're not doing it. So I would say we have to do it. We have to set boundaries, and then we have to help them, and set limits. And instead of holding their hands too tight, just show them the way, show them the concrete step, and share experience, and guide them through the process instead of micromanaging them.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, Quran, you were making some symbols there, so I don't know if that mean that um, you hold people's hand too tight, or somebody holding your hand too
No,
tight.
not at
No.
all.
Yeah, so,
I'm the one that gets micromanaged, and
oh
I
my, tell
do
us
not
all
like
about it.
that
Tell us all about it.
because,
You
well,
you
okay,
have a sofa in your room. Just lay on the sofa and we're gonna walk you through this thing.
yes, the TED Talk, right? Yes, I'll get up and get
I'm just
okay.
kidding. What do you?
Well, I was saying that the problem with that, with helping too much, is okay. I can't even say that it's helping too much. It's like I understand the contents of your heart. You were trying to be helpful, but what happens is you start living. I start living through you. I start
Mhm.
relying on you for your advice as opposed to my own relationship with God and my own free
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
So then you start living my Christian life. It's what happened. Like I was at church and I had all the counsel in the world. I've been raised since I was young, an Adventist, but I didn't start really living my own um growing my own connection with God until I came to college because I was being stifled. I wasn't allowed to grow by myself. I had all the time, but it was a constant input from everyone else on how I should live my life as opposed to how God wanted me to live my life. And because I relied on that so much, it started short circuiting my connection with him.
Wow, Emmanuel, talk to me because I know you wanted to jump in earlier, and y'all got to forgive me for on there's like a little comment section where we communicate, and they have forgotten that I am just a little bit older than them, so I can't move between these things so fast.
Wait, Pastor, I thought you said you
I
was
said
just in our
a
shoes a
little bit
couple.
older,
You said you was in our shoes just a couple years ago.
just a little older.
Yeah, you got a little gray from the medical
I see a
condition,
little bit
right?
different.
Exactly.
The
Hmm.
medical condition. It's
Yeah,
okay.
we got
Yeah,
her.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But yeah, so in addition to what Lori and Karan said, I think it's a great question. Like, what I would say is it becomes, I would say, like it raises a red flag or it's like a question mark in my mind when you want it more than the person wants it themselves.
mm,
So when it becomes your priority that they get fixed more than it's their own priority, then I think that's when questions start arising because I feel like along the lines that can be really negative. Like that could turn really bad because like Karan said, you want to be micromanaging, you want to make sure like are they doing this right or doing that right? And sometimes some people use that as an excuse to forget about their own problems and just be like, oh no,
mm.
like I'm helping so and so, I'm doing this and that and this and that. And they use that as an excuse to not work on themselves. So I'll just keep it as that. But I think that that's a really good point that you brought up.
Okay, all right. Now let me ask this. I was not going to come to the young lady at the top of the screen because she has allowed me to call her name wrong this entire time and has not yet corrected me and said, Pastor, it's not Michaela, it's Michaelia. So I wasn't gonna call on you anymore, but the Holy Spirit just spoke to me and told me don't be like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a question now, but I'm going to try to find the hardest one I can. So hold on. Let me. Okay. Now this one. Let me stop. All right. Now, godly communities. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're dealing with here. Is there a way for there to be a toxic element in a godly community? And if you find a toxic element in a godly community, does that then mean it's not godly? That's my question for
It's so funny because it's actually the question I sent Emmanuel.
you.
Yo, I'm looking at my phone too. I'm like, yo, let me check my messages because I feel like Michaelia asked this question. Oh my god.
So, could there be a toxic element in a godly community? So, I think this kind of goes off of what Karan and Emmanuel was saying with when you try to basically micromanage, because I feel like at some point you're making somebody lose sight of God and they might start viewing you as God instead of viewing God as God. So if I'm coming to you with all my issues and I'm forgetting, hey, am I going to God with my problems like he told me to?
Mm,
He could bear all my problems. You probably can't bear half of them, but he could bear it all. Like, and now you're replacing that aspect in my life of who God is supposed to be. At that point, I do believe it's toxic. And it might have good intentions behind it, but it is toxic and it might be time to let it go.
Okay, so you just said something, and I want to come on that, but I do want to give Jessica a chance to jump in on this because she's an English major, right? Did I get that right? English major. So I know like the English majors, they always have such interesting perspectives. Um, your English majors, y'all are right brain or left brain? Which one is it?
I'm not sure.
You gotta unmute yourself. That's how you are able to talk on the thing. You what
I
you?
did unmute myself.
Oh, okay, all right. Because it
Okay.
took like a long time for you to respond. So I didn't know if you were maybe trying to like give
It's
yourself
the
some
Tally
time to give
Wi-Fi.
an answer. Oh, it's the Taliban.
Yeah, FAMU doesn't have the best internet. I will say that. So
Well,
I can
say
apologize on
where
their
you live.
behalf.
Say where you live.
Y'all
We
leave her alone. All right, I started it. My bad. My bad, Jessica. I'm sorry. I started that foolishness. All right. Let me ask you this
I don't know
question,
where.
Jessica. Let me ask you this question.
Um,
Go ahead.
I think most definitely people like there is like I think I'm trying to find the right words. There is like there can be a lot of toxicity like within the community, whether someone thinks they're helping. Well, I think it all stems from a good place, or like Emmanuel said, they're trying to help you to forget about their problems. But I feel like with me, like my main issue, because I grew up in the church, is the way you approach me. So if it's like, I feel like people think they're better than you in certain areas. So maybe they'll be like older than you and they think they know better than you, which your elders do. But it's in like in the manner of which they speak to you and they approach you. Like, don't talk to me any kind of way. Even though like you may be my elder and you may know more, if you're offering advice, do it in a non-judgmental way so I will be more open to receiving it. Because the moment I feel that someone is judging me, I like I like lose sight of like the fact that you're trying to help me.
Okay.
And that makes me turn away from any advice that you may have wanted to you may have wanted me to receive. So I feel like that is like a big part of like the toxic behavior that can happen in the church. Like instead of you trying to help me better myself, it comes from like a judgmental place instead of a place where God, where I feel like God sent you to talk to me. It's you sending yourself to talk to me because you feel like I will do better with you in my life.
Okay, now one of the comments that we have, this is on YouTube. It's from Joanne, and I think it's a really good comment. Joanne asked a question, and let's just talk about it for just a minute. She says, "What about if you're helping a person financially? Let's say 4 times out of the year, literally, is that getting to the place where maybe um, you're starting to get into a place where you could be sort of hindering that person, or is that getting is what do y'all think about that? If somebody kind of keeps coming to you for a little financial assistance, what do y'all think about that?
I was just about to comment on that. Like I saw it, I was like, no. See, there is a generous side and then there's a stopping side. Just like she said in the comments as well, helping can also drain you of your own spirit. So I feel like that is a toxic part of being a generous person as well. But if you're helping someone 4 times out of the year, it is that one time, okay, but if you see that it's consistently being a an ask, a need, now you'd have to really ask, are you using me? Oh, you're welcome, Joanne. Are you using me or are you genuinely in need? And I feel as if as a friend, I would then have to step in since I am giving you money. I'd have to step in to see what is wrong. What is really the source of why you're losing the money and constantly needing help? And then I, as a friend, can get to the root of the source, root of the problem, as opposed to just brushing away this problem that you consistently ask. Because obviously there's a reason why they keep asking you for money. So I feel as if it's our place to get to the root of the problem and then see what you can fix with that. But if it's something that you cannot control, do not make it an obligation to yourself. Do not put yourself in that position to where you are their scapegoat from every problem that they have. Because it'll start out this 1 4 times, okay, then it'll change to 8 and 12, and then pretty soon you're broke, they're broke, they brought you down together. No, you have to fix it yourself. You have to tell them that they need to fix it as well. Don't be rude, don't be mean, but be patient and show them that you are losing money at the same time by being their friend.
So you're trying to send them to some financial management classes. You
Yes,
go to
sir.
money.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
all right. Listen, there's a couple Bible texts I want us to hit. Does everybody have their phone or the Bible with them real quick? Because we got 4 texts here, and I want each of y'all to take a text. All right? Okay. And it's 5 of you. So let's start.
I'll sit out.
Oh, so generous of you. All right. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. Michaelia, take that one. Proverbs 27:17. Quran, take that one. 1 Corinthians 1:18. Jessica, if you could take that one. And then Lori, if you could take Proverbs 17:17. All right, so we're going to start with you first, Michaelia. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. If you could just read that for us.
Okay. So it says, 2 people are better than one. They can help each other in everything they do. Suppose either one of them falls down, then the other can help the other one up. But suppose a person falls down and doesn't have anyone to help them up, then feel sorry for that person. Or suppose two people lie down together, then they'll keep warm. But how can one person keep warm alone? One person could be overpowered, but two people can stand up for themselves. And a rope made of three cords isn't easily broken.
That's right. A rope made with three cords, three-stranded rope, excuse me, is not easily broken. And when the Bible talks about two people laying down, it's a husband and wife. All that smiling and giggling, I don't know what that was about. The Bible talking about married folk, all right? When they lay down together, they keep each other warm, all right? What you saying, Karan? You're muted. I couldn't hear you.
I said married folk business.
Yes. Proverbs 27:17 is Quran.
Oh, I thought you gave me 27. Well, I'm confused. I thought you gave me 17. Okay.
No,
I
27.
got 27. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Oh.
Iron sharpens iron. I like that one. It's iron sharpens iron. So in other words, when two friends or two people who are in community, when they come together and they start to rub against each other, that's how they become better. Now, when two things rub against each other, what happens? I know none of y'all are probably science majors, but what happens?
They get dull.
When two things rub against each other.
Some things they get dull. Friction,
right? There you go. Yes.
fire.
Yes. Friction, right? So even amongst friends in godly community, there can be friction there. Based on what the Bible just said, even amongst godly friends, there could be friction. The question is, does that friction sharpen you, or does the friction create a fire? And that's, I guess, the question. If the friction creates a fire, that may not be a good friendship. But if the friction eventually causes two to become sharper, become better, become stronger friends, grow closer to Christ, then that's a good thing. All right. Let's see. Who's next? Jessica. We have your 1 Corinthians 1:18. That's what I get. Yeah. I go 1 Corinthians 1:18. Sorry if I said the wrong thing before.
Okay. For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. Just verse 18? Or do you want me to read 19 too?
I'll read 19 too.
Okay. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, the intelligence of the intelligent, I will frustrate.
Okay, so what if I give you the wrong text? We'll come back to that one. I'm gonna look it up and I'll come back to you. Proverbs 17:17, Lori.
Alrighty, I'll be reading from the New King James Version, and it says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity."
Oh, do that one again. Hit that one again.
A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
So a friend loves at all times. What does that mean?
They love unconditionally and
Oh, they love what? Say that again. What's that word?
unconditionally.
Wow. So that means no matter what. That's a love without any ifs, ands, or buts. Oh, wow. So let me run around the panel real quick. Michaela, have you ever experienced that kind of love? Love without any ifs, ands, or buts?
Yes, God and my parents.
Yeah, we kind of have to love our children, right? Okay, Karan.
No.
Okay, oh Lord, you've never experienced that? Karan, get out of here.
Karan, you're not gonna love your
No.
children?
No. See, that's a whole different discussion because there's some parents that don't know how to love their children, but that's generational curses. Anyways, to answer your question, yes, I've experienced unconditional love from my friends, especially a best friend that I've had for 6 years now.
Okay, all right. So then, like with that best friend, Karan, if you like met her tomorrow, you slapped her all side of her face, she'd still be your friend.
Yes, she'd be a little bit shocked, but she knows that she'd be like, "All right, what? I'm confused. Why would you do that?"
Okay, all right. Let's try it out. Let me know how it went. Emmanuel.
I like my life.
Emmanuel, what about you?
I'm gonna say yes, God and my family.
Okay.
parents.
Okay. Love you no matter what.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Jessica, how about you?
Um, just to be sure, because like I was distracted for a second. The question was, who loves me unconditionally?
Oh yeah, yeah. Or have you ever experienced unconditional love? Really, that's the main thing.
God. I'll say God. With my parents, I'll say yes.
You
Why
all
is
are.
your man back here?
That sounded doubtful.
That sound like they're in the background. They say you better answer.
You better say yes. You better say yes.
Let's leave Jessica alone. All right, Lori, what about you?
Definitely. I would say God, my family, and some of my like best friends, my closest friends. Yes.
Okay, okay. So we're discovering something here, and we don't have a lot of time left. And I do have one more question I really want to get to, but we're discovering here then now in community, that's the group of people then that love each other unconditionally, love each other no matter what. Love me when I'm up and when I'm down. Love me when I'm making sense and when I'm talking foolishness. Love me when things are going great, or love me when I'm getting on your nerves. That's all a part of that godly community. So here's my next question for you, maybe our last one based on our time. But the question is, what is there ever a time or is there a point where you say, uh, this community is not for me? Is there a time where that godly community is not for you?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
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 Okay, so everybody said yes. So there can be a
Nope.
time, even though a community is did Quran just say no?
I said no.
All right,
I
go ahead.
said no.
Go ahead.
My
Quick.
friends have always been great. See, I'm the type of person where I know if I'm not able to speak to you honestly, as people that are in my community, you're not supposed to be there. I pray to God every day, take the people out of my life that do not need to be here, Lord, that will not continue to bring me closer to you. And if I'm not able to speak to you, then what is your job as a friend? You're just there, you're taking up space and wasting my time. So no.
My. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. He's a
I
little sharp.
bounce off of what you said. I think we're like saying the same thing in a way. I feel like, given an analogy of iron sharpens iron, if somebody's an axe and you're a piece of wood, and that person keeps beating you with their problems, at the end of the day, you're going to end up broken, and then they're going to be perfectly okay. So at that point, I'm like, that's the point where you need to remove yourself from that community. Although it may be a godly community, it's time to remove yourself and find another community to be a part of. Because if all it's doing is destroying you instead of sharpening you, then you don't need to be a part of that.
So the reality is then that even godly communities are imperfect, because the godly community is made up of imperfect people. So could be a community and everybody there is seeking God and is trying to get closer to God, but that may just not be the right one for you as an individual because maybe personalities or whatever it is. That's what you guys are trying to say?
Yes.
Yes. A community. I like the way you said it too. A community of imperfect people.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, because sometimes, when we talk about even the church is a form of a godly community. But even in the churches, like people come to church with unrealistic expectations. So, sometimes I hear people talk about church and I'm like, wait, did you not go to a place with other human beings just like you? So like if you get an attitude, other people get attitudes. If you're not feeling well some days, other people don't feel well some days. It's sometimes we approach it with the unrealistic expectations. Yes, we're all growing and we're all trying to get closer to God, but we can't come expecting people to be perfect. The place is a hospital, and hospitals are for sick people. Even doctors get sick and even nurses get sick. It's an imperfect environment, but it's a place where people can heal, and that's what community should be. Like you all have been saying, this whole time, it's a place where people can heal. Well, listen, we're at 6:01, so we've kind of exhausted our time. But man, let me just say, man, it's been a tremendous discussion. You guys have done a great job. We've really been able to sort of pick this topic apart and look at community a little differently and understand it's not just about people being around people I like. It's also about being around people that can hold me accountable, people who can keep me in line without judging me or without micromanaging me or running me into the ground. It's about being vulnerable around people that I can trust, and they're helping me to grow as I help them to grow. And together we're all trying to follow Christ and head in the right direction. So, man, again, I just want to thank you all for letting me be a part of this panel, for letting me be around you young people. And like I said, it was just the other day, maybe just a year or two ago, I was where you are. And so just want to let you know that I feel you. We connect like that in a real way, because we're real close. And anyway, let me move on from that. For those of you who have been watching, just thank you all so much. Thank you all for our guests who have been on. Your comments, we've been reading your comments on Facebook and on YouTube, and we were able to answer another a question or two. And so, man, we just want to say thank you for taking the time to tune in. It's been a great discussion with our young people. And young people, I just want you to know, I love this format because we get to hear what you think. Sometimes we come on and we might preach at you, but we want to know what you think and how you feel and how you're experiencing it. And so just thank you again for being willing to be open and transparent and letting us in a little bit as we discuss today, Godly Community. All right, now we won't be here next week. We come on twice a month now, but so we just want you to stay tuned. We will be back the week after next. And so we're going to have another great topic that week. We're going to be diving into some things. We may have add a couple new panelists here and there, but we just want to encourage you to come back and join with us. Everybody say goodbye to the folk.
All right. And really quickly before we close off, I don't know if there's any announcement. Usually we would announce if we have Vespers or not. But I would say be on the lookout for SEC TV and see what they post. But I just want to thank everybody again for coming on. Thank you so much, Pastor McLeod, for being our moderator. And I wanted to close us out in prayer. So if we could bow our heads and close our eyes. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us all here together to talk about this amazing topic. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be well and healthy, Lord. And we ask that you continue to watch over us and be in our lives, Lord. We thank you. We love you, Lord. And we ask that someone's heart was touched, and somebody's life was blessed, Lord, by what we discussed today, Lord. I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.